if you've been a part of the material world for some time, you've probably been feeling like you're a loser in some way or the other, falling short in this way, that way, or another way. But in Bhakti, there's no losing. It's only winning after winning. You know, we have a president who he made his whole campaign about how everyone's going to win. But actually, he's offering no solution for everyone to win. He may offer material prosperity, but actually, it's also not the case. But there is really no winning in the material world, but there's no losing in bhakti. So we'll talk about that a bit more. I'll exit out of this. Where are we here? What's our? But before we begin, we'll do our Mangala Charana. Maybe Madhava, I don't know if you want to share. In my life, both Diksha and Shiksha, from whom anything I have worth sharing it was first come to me through them, and I'm really powerless without them. And then I'd like to offer my obeisances unto the entire Gaudiya Guru Varga, who is connected to the Supreme Lord, and that's how our Gurus also got their empowerment in their lives. So we want to get the blessings of all of the amazing personalities that have participated. And then finally I want to offer my obeisances unto all the Vaishnavas, especially the ones here, and past, present, and future, which is actually every living entity in all of existence, but especially you guys, and maybe any who are listening online. Vancha kalpa tarubhishcha kripa sindhubhyevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. All right. So, we are studying the Srimad Bhagavatam. Maybe Deepti, it might be good. I don't know if they know we're doing anything, but maybe you just knock on your door and just say their door and just say, hey, just so you know we're having a program. You don't even have to go in, and you could just say. So, just to recap where we are in the Bhagavatam, we are actually in the Bhagavatam starting the second canto, and Divyanshu, you've been paying attention, or you've been here, so you can tell us what has happened thus far.
First, like Shukdev Maharaj entered and Parikshit Maharaj inquired that what is the purpose of every living entity, what should every living entity do, especially the one who is about to die.
Yes, what are the duties for all persons in all times and all places? And what is the duty for one who is about to die? This is a very nice, and Shukadeva Goswami was very pleased with this question, because this is why? Why is he pleased with it? Because this is beneficial for everybody, to know what is the duty for all persons, all places, and all times. So some of you may struggle, I don't know what my duty is. I don't know. He's telling you what your duty is. You just read Bhagavatam, and you'll know exactly what your duty is. So, he mentions how the envious householder, they pass their night in sleeping and in sex, and in the daytime in making money or maintaining their family members, which is 99% of society, and many of us, like this. Why? Because we're envious and we're trying to be the enjoyer, so we work hard all day to set up our enjoyment. But, and it doesn't work. But we try, we make so many attempts. But why? Because we don't know, we're devoid of Atma Tattva. We don't really know who we are, and we don't really know what's worth doing, because we don't even know who we are. So, he says, a person who desires to be free from all miseries must hear about, glorify, and also remember the personality of Godhead, who is the Supersoul, the controller, and the savior from all miseries. So this is actually the duty of all persons, all places, and all times. Okay. So our duty is none other than to hear about, to glorify, which is what word is glorify? Kirtan, yes. To glorify and to remember, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. You have no other duty in life. All the other duties will assist you in doing that. So, Leah, welcome, joining us. So we're just talking about the essence of Bhagavatam, and we actually just entered the whole realm of the Bhagavatam beginning. And so in the first canto of the Bhagavatam is first the setting of the sages of Naimisharanya, and they're all inquiring from Sutta Goswami. And then Sutta Goswami, he gave many nice conclusions about the superiority of Bhakti and the superiority of Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead. And then after giving so many examples of Sri Krishna's amazingness and some conclusions, then he tells the story about how the Bhagavatam came to him, and how first it came from Narad to Vyas. And then over time it came to Shukadeva Goswami, and then he's telling finally, now where we are, how Parikshit Maharaj, how he got cursed, and how the scene got set, everything happened, and then now how Shukadeva Goswami is speaking. So we just mentioned, Shukadeva Goswami, he was juxtaposing how the envious person passes their time in sleeping and sex at night, and in making money and maintaining family members in the day. And if we evaluate our lives, be like, holy crap, that's practically all I do in living my life. Why is that? Because we are devoid of Atma Tattva. We're devoid of knowing who we really are. And what is it? We think we're the enjoyer. And so we set up our life trying to enjoy. And instead of enjoying, we just suffer instead. And that's the material world. And that's how it's supposed to be, because we're foolish. And we're actually sinful. If we were actually pure, we would actually just do this one duty that he's recommending. And what is the one duty? What is the now remember, Maharaj Parikshit, he asked, he asked Shukadeva Goswami, this is the whole context of the Bhagavatam, what is the duty for all persons, in all places, in all times? And then especially, what is the duty for one who is about to die? This is a very good question. And Shukadeva Goswami was so pleased because it's so beneficial to know. Because most people, they have no idea what to do. They get up every day, they may brush the teeth, shower, and then, go, and then they think, well, what do I want to do today? And then they just let their whims guide them, and then they live their life like this. Actually, last night, Tanya Mataji was sharing about the types of undesirable association. And this is one type of undesirable association, a person like this. And like everybody practically is like this. Just, well, whatever I feel like doing today, I'll do. Why? Because there's they're devoid of knowing who they really are. Unfortunately, they're identifying with that which they are not actually, which is the material modes of nature, consisting of earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, and false ego. And they've identified with this body, which they definitely are not. And in time it will be revealed to them when they have to give up their body and they still have existence. But as of right now, this is what everybody is doing. Why? Because there's no Atma Tattva. They don't know who they really are in the knowledge of the soul. So what is to be done? One who desires to be free from all miseries must hear about, glorify, and remember the personality of Godhead. That's all that actually has to be done in this world. When you hear more about Krishna, when you hear and you also recite, glorify what you hear in kirtan, and then you'll actually remember the personality of Godhead, and that's the perfection of life. That's what this whole life is set up to do. Well, depends. Where we are here, we're set up to try to enjoy without the personality of Godhead. But the unfortunate circumstance of when you choose a life like that is you just suffer. Yes? Is anyone not suffering here in the material world? Who here is not suffering? They've conquered suffering. Okay, do you know why you suffer? We suffer? Why?
We are forgetting Krishna.
Not just for forgetting Krishna.
Letting the Maya take over us.
Yes, but the reason we must suffer is because we have actually a sinful nature. It's justice actually. It's proper that we suffer. Because, why? We want to be God actually. And every living entity, whether you're an ant or whether you're a cow or whether you're in a human body, everyone is setting up their life to be the Lord of whatever they survey. It could be the house, it could be the room, it could be the stable, it could be the anthill, but they're setting themselves up to be the Lord or the enjoyer. And they don't even necessarily have to be in a big position, but in their little container, yes, I'm the enjoyer here. And life is for my enjoyment. So, this is actually the exact opposite of virtue. What is virtue? Is living a life for the benefit of others, actually. That's really virtue. Living a life for the benefit of others. But without even knowing who are the actual players in this material world, like you have to understand first the reality and the personality of God, the personality of reality. Once you know that, then you can understand everything else can come from there. So the first duty of everyone they should hear about, glorify, and remember God, and actually understand the personality of God. Not he's just like a vague energy in the sky, or he's the universe, or so many inferior understandings of God are there. And that's fine, actually. It's better than no understanding of God. But if you hear about, glorify, and remember the personality of Godhead, He's the savior from all miseries. He's the real controller. And then you can actually reach the highest perfection of human life. Now, today's subject matter is what? Do you remember what I said in the beginning? There's no losers in Bhakti. In the material world, you'll just become a loser over and over and over again. Everyone in the material world, they feel themselves to be a loser at some point or another. Whether they don't get the job, They don't get the relationship they want. They don't get the this, that, the other thing. They lose all their money, this, that, and the other thing. And you feel like a loser. Oh no. I'm frightened when I hear those little steps. But you feel like a loser. But actually in Bhakti, no matter where you are, if you practice Bhakti, you will achieve victory and achieve perfection. So in the last verse, it was the highest perfection of human life achieved either by complete knowledge of matter and spirit, which is Sankhya, it's jnana, like understanding what is reality in this world, by practice of mystic powers, the meditators and the mystics who have achieved something in their meditation, or by discharge of their duties, great karmis who they do their duties nicely in the world and they offer things nicely. Hey, where's your mother? And so on. The highest perfection is to remember the personality of Godhead at the end of life. Because we have to realize what's going to happen here. When we die, we're going somewhere. Yes? It's understood. And anything else you tried to remember and you remembered your whole life is useless at that point. Any type of practice in beautifying your body, any type of practice in accumulating wealth, any type of practice in accumulating techniques and knowledge about how to better enjoy this material, all will become useless at that time. Everything will be useless. So what's really valuable in reality, it's the only valuable thing is your relationship with God, to your understanding of God. So, but that has to be practiced throughout the life. So that's why you have to regularly first hear, and then yourself recite what you've heard, and then you'll remember. And so that's why you guys have come here to hear. And because I've also been doing a lot of hearing in my life. I just left for a month of hearing, and now it's my turn to recite. What are you doing? Now it's your turn, and now it's my turn to recite. And this is good for my practice so that I can actually remember the personality of Godhead. So this is perfection. So the topmost transcendentalists who are beyond the rules and regulations of the scriptures, they take pleasure in describing the glories of the Lord, he's saying. And then he's saying that he heard this from his father at the end of Dwapara Yuga, and that he was situated already perfect in transcendence, meaning he already achieved, me and Leah were talking about Buddhism last night, he achieved a state of transcendence where he was beyond the sufferings of this world already. But still, a person like this, if they hear about the glories of the Lord, it's so attractive that even that type of person, if they're really, if they hear, they'd be attractive. So finally, he's saying, I'll recite before you the most, who he's saying, who's the most sincere devotee of Lord Krishna, Maharaj Parikshit, that very Srimad Bhagavatam. And one who gives full attention and respect to hearing Srimad Bhagavatam achieves unflinching faith in the Supreme Lord, the giver of salvation. So, if you just give your full attention and your respect to this Bhagavatam, this message that we're about to go through, you will get unflinching faith. You will achieve the highest thing, and that will actually lead you to the highest love. So, we read this yesterday. O King, constant chanting of the holy name of the Lord after the ways of the great authorities is the doubtless and fearless way of success for all, including those who are free from all material desires, those who are desirous of all material enjoyment, and those who are self-satisfied by dint of transcendental knowledge. So everyone's at different stages here. Some of you have been practicing, many of you born in Bharatvarsha or India, you guys have like a leg up on most of the world, actually. It's in your culture to understand karma, to understand reincarnation, to understand spirituality and meditation, to have some understanding of the worshiping practices. Like when I went to India, I was shocked how in the USA I'm used to bar culture and sense gratification culture everywhere, but in India, their form, Even like it's cute, like the couples, instead of going out to the bar, they'll go out to a temple together, and it's a completely different culture. So, but no matter whether you were born in that culture and you have a bit, let's say, a leg up on most of society, or you are completely desirous of all material enjoyment, like most of the Western world, or you're already a self-satisfied personality, the constant chanting of the holy name of the Lord, this is the doubtless and fearless way of success for all. You won't be a loser no matter where you are. It's not like, oh, Leia, you were born, where you born in USA? Okay, you were born in USA, I was born in USA, or this one's born in Africa, this one's born in Asia. You're disqualified because, you have all kinds of material desires. No, everyone, the doubtless and fearless way of success is open for everyone in the constant chanting of the holy name of the Lord. Kirtaniya Sada Hari. Now, that being said, it may be in the, for instance, if you grew up impoverished, it might be more difficult for you to become rich than someone who grew up rich. So someone rich in spiritual culture, being born in spiritual culture, it might be a lot easier for you to take to spiritual culture than someone born impoverished in spiritual culture. But that actually does not ultimately matter, because by taking up the process and meeting the Vaishnavas and getting their mercy, anybody, as we see what Srila Prabhupada did, when he came to this world, he had achieved something. Maybe he was born achieved already. I don't know the truth behind it. But when he met all the Western people, he allowed them, no matter what their disqualification was, by the process that he was giving, the pure process of introducing people to the Lord and allowing them to hear about, chant, and remember him. The lowest crop of American society, which was the hippies, were becoming blissful. We like to joke the happies. Instead of the hippies, they became the happies. So, now, we read yesterday this first paragraph, but we'll read it again. Prabhupada is saying, in the previous verse, the great necessity for attaining attachment to Mukunda has been accredited. There are different types of persons who desire to attain success in different varieties of pursuits. Generally, the persons are materialists who desire to enjoy the fullest extent of material gratification. Next to them are the transcendentalists, who have attained perfect knowledge about the nature of material enjoyment and thus are aloof from such an illusory way of life. Do you guys know already just what's wrong with material gratification? What's the limitation there?
There's no limitation. That any time that you have material desires, it is not limited. Like one is fulfilled and you have enough.
I wasn't understanding.
Like when you say limitation, so in the sense that it is never ending for the material desire, it is always going to be, and you are not actually, when you get it, you are not that much satisfied.
You're never satisfied. Yes, you're never satisfied. Why? Why are you never satisfied?
That's the nature of being materialistic.
Yes. Well, the real reason why is because you're trying to take something which has no relation to you and try and enjoy it, but ultimately it all disappears and it never nourished you in the first place. Imagine, there are some people who have to eat more than other people. And why do they have to eat more? Is because the body is craving nutrition, and due to all kinds of reasons why, the intestinal tract may have some disease where it can't absorb, so malabsorption. So they have to eat so much more to try to get the same nutrients. So similarly, everyone's trying to enjoy, trying to be satisfied. But actually, because they're devoid of Atma Tattva, they don't know who they actually really are. Their attempts to satisfy never satisfy them because it has nothing to do with who they really are. It doesn't quench the soul. So this is the nature of material enjoyment. And the obvious limitation is it's all temporary. The soul itself is Satchidananda. It's eternal, it's full of knowledge, fully conscious, and it's fully blissful. But when we try to take temporary things that are full of ignorance and full of misery and try to derive enjoyment from that, of course it doesn't satisfy the soul, because that's not what we are. So, this is the limitation of material gratification. It can never satisfy you, as Tanu said. And it never will, it never can, it never will, and it only increases the desire for satisfaction that much more. Where, if you get in the culture of hearing about reciting and remembering the Lord, you'll actually feel nourished. Like, wow. Like, listen to a nice, like, Harikatha, and you just be like, wow, I'm so happy I did that. You know, like, I feel, like, completely transformed just from hearing about the Lord. And this is why devotees, they develop a culture of doing this thing in their life. So next to them are the transcendentalists, who have attained perfect knowledge about the nature of material enjoyment. So they know, nope, don't do it. It's not going to help. And thus they're aloof, they're cold from such an illusory way of life. They're like, no, I'm not going to spend my life at the bars anymore. I'm not going to spend my life trying to, enjoy my senses through music and television and video games and this, that, and the other thing. Why? Because they already realize this is futile. There's no enjoyment here. So they're not going to live an illusory way of life, one that they know will only breed suffering. So they're cold to that. But more or less, they're satisfied in themselves by self-realization. They're satisfied with understanding, the finer natures of reality, the finer details. So above them are the devotees of the Lord. So even above those persons who are beyond suffering, like maybe achieve some state of nirvana, or a state of bliss, samadhi even. Above them are the devotees of the Lord, who neither aspire to enjoy the material world, nor desire to get out of it. Because this is the thing. In both Buddhism and even Mayavad philosophy, they're all trying to get out of this miserable situation. But the devotee doesn't care to get out of this miserable situation. This is a different thing. So what does the devotee do? They are after the satisfaction of the Lord, Sri Krishna. In other words, the devotees of the Lord do not want anything on their personal account. If the Lord desires, the devotees can accept all sorts of material facilities. And if the Lord does not desire this, the devotees can leave aside all sorts of facilities, even up to the limit of salvation. So what does the devotee want? Satisfaction of the Lord. That's what a devotee wants. Someone who's a little less refined, they're worried about their own personal happiness and misery. I'm miserable, I just want to be happy. And then the ignorant people, they seek happiness in temporary things of this material world. And they don't get it. The jnani, or the one who has more knowledge and understands reality a bit more, they actually get relief from suffering. They achieve this. But because they're still concerned with their own personal happiness and suffering, they're limited. But the devotee, they don't care at all for their own personal happiness and suffering. They only care about what satisfies the Lord, what will make the Lord happy. And actually in that, they'll get more happiness than anyone else. Because the Lord he's not ungrateful, actually. By giving the Lord pleasure, the Lord himself wants to give you also much pleasure. And the example that's often given is when we water the root of a tree. What happens to the whole plant? It's nourished. But what about I have a special favor towards this leaf. This is a very nice leaf. Let me water only this leaf. What will happen to that leaf? It won't get any extra benefit. And actually, it'll be much less off if instead of you just watering the root of the tree. So you could play favoritism. And we do this. We're all little leaves of a cosmic tree. And we play favoritism with our leaf, the one that we are. And yes, I'm going to set myself up. Or how about my family members? And I'll set them up nicely and things like that. And we try to water here, get more for them. But we never realize what's actually going to nourish them and what's going to nourish us. You have to water the root. Who and what is the root? It's God. So many people, they get jobs. Many people, they raise families. Many people, they do so many activities through the day. But if it's not nourishing the root, it's useless. It's shrama, it's called in Sanskrit. It's just all useless. So we should understand, you should have jobs. You should have families. You should preserve yourself. But the devotee preserves themselves. And Prabhupada says, you can accept all material facilities. But at the end of the day, why are you accepting the material facilities? What's that? To satisfy the Lord. Like when your family members, they develop a culture of worshiping the Lord and pleasing the Lord. This is great. This is the perfection of family life. When your job goes to supporting a life and a lifestyle, and maybe even supporting the other, those out there trying to serve the Lord, this is the perfection of job. This is the perfection of work. This is the perfection of money. But when, at the end of the day, one's own selfish enjoyment or trying to get out of suffering, if that's the backbone of why you're doing what you're doing, it's incomplete. And it'll never really satisfy you. You'll never achieve perfection. So the devotees, that's why they never give any consideration of all about their own personal satisfaction. It's okay, how can I do something for the benefit of the Lord, to please the Lord? And so in the beginning, it's, we have to practice, and so that's why we're here. We have different things. We sing songs, even though we might not feel it. We chant mantras, we sing songs. We might not really feel what we're doing, but we know this is what we should be doing. But in time, and meeting realized personalities who are feeling this thing, by serving them and hearing from them and reciting what you've learned from them, you'll actually take in those qualities. So this is thereafter the satisfaction of the Lord Sri Krishna. In other words, the devotees of the Lord do not want anything on their personal account. If the Lord desires, the devotees can accept all sorts of material facilities. And if the Lord does not desire this, the devotees can leave aside all sorts of facilities, even up to the limit of salvation. Nor are they self-satisfied, because they want the satisfaction of the Lord only. So like Mayavadis or even Buddhists, their satisfaction lies in just their own self. And they're not interested so much in relationship. They're not interested so much in anything out in the material world, because it's all Maya, or in Buddhist philosophy, Mara. And it causes suffering. So they're just interested in their own self. It's because this is the limitation of selfishness. Where the devotee is actually selfless. They don't care for their own self. And you'll see in stories of the Bhagavatam, all these great devotees, and even starting from Dhruva Maharaj, who was very much self-interested, but by practicing bhakti, he lost all of his self-interest, and he realized the higher perfection of achieving association with the Lord and service to the Lord. But then up to Prahlad Maharaj, who himself, he knew all this altogether, but he devoted only his life to this the whole time, and he achieved a higher perfection than Dhruva Maharaj. And then all the way up to the residents of Vrindavan, who they don't care at all for themselves. They don't even care for their family members or their relatives. They only want to please Krishna, like in pinnacle of the gopis of Vrindavan. But no matter where you start, this is the nature of the devotee. They don't care for their own self-interest. Completely different than we've ever been trained, because we're in the illusion of thinking that yes, if I only try to preserve myself or those connected with myself, I'll be happiest this way. But that's not what life is about, and that won't give the highest perfection. You have to water the root of the tree to nourish the whole tree. Even if you care about your family members, even if you care about your relatives, even if you care about yourself, you should water the root. So that's why our attention, the only duty for all persons, all times, and all places is... Come on down, no problem. Cool. So that's why the only duty for all persons, all places, and in all times is to hear about God, to recite God's glories, and to remember God, and to understand more the personality of God. If you do that, you're perfect in your life. Doesn't matter what job you have. It doesn't matter what type of family you have. It doesn't matter how many desires you have. It doesn't matter. This is the perfection of life. You may have to come to some realization. I don't know if I trust that, Like a lot of us are twice bitten, or once shy, twice bitten. What is this? No. Twice shy, once bitten. We've tried spiritual things in the past and it didn't work out for us, or we felt we got cheated in something, or maybe we met some representation of spirituality and they didn't live up to the highest virtues. And, so then we don't really trust in this thing. But fine. Bhakti is pratyakshavāgamam dharmyam, meaning it's directly experienced. So you yourself can test this. We're not asking you to be unscientific here. We're not asking you, just believe everything I say or the book says. Test it yourself. See how much satisfaction you get being only self-interested. See how much satisfaction... Sorry. See how much satisfaction you get in your life like this. And it won't work. So, where are we? Anyone remember the last sentence we read? Oh. So nor are they self-satisfied because they want the satisfaction of the Lord only. In this verse, Sri Shukadeva Goswami recommends the transcendental chanting of the holy name of the Lord. By offenseless chanting and hearing of the holy name of the Lord, one becomes acquainted with the transcendental form of the Lord, and then with the attributes of the Lord, and then with the transcendental nature of his pastimes, etc. Here it is mentioned that one should constantly chant the holy name of the Lord after hearing it from authorities. So just the more you chant, the more the Lord will gradually reveal himself. The more you'll be able to perceive his form. The more you'll be able to perceive his attributes and qualities. And the more you'll be able to actually perceive his leelas, his pastimes. It's a gradual progression. So if we understand the summum bonum of reality, we were doing this class on Wednesday, Amnaya Praha Tattvam Harim Iha Paramam. Tattva Harim Iha Paramam. The supreme truth is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Hari. We should understand this is the supreme truth, the personality of God. He is the personality behind reality. If we understand that, if we actually understand that, what else should we focus on? There's nothing else to focus on, actually. And anything else you do, everything can be done. Everything can be done. Look, we have family. Look, we have house. Even we're managing finances. All these things. It all has to be done. But if at the end of the day, it's for a higher purpose, it's for the pleasure of God, and in the Lord has revealed, he takes great pleasure in you doing everything else, but only, at the end of the day, with him in full consideration. It melts his heart completely. And he exchanges the highest levels of ecstasy with you. Maybe we're not there yet. I know I'm not there yet. But just try it yourself. And you could look at, practically, those who advanced in bhakti over the years and then those who did not. It's clear they're tasting something much higher than the ordinary person. It's clear, actually. Just meet some experienced devotees. And it's like, wow, I want this. Even look at Abhiram. He's actually an advanced soul. He wouldn't come into this life in this type of circumstance without being. And so, and people are recognizing, and I'm recognizing, wow, he's an advanced little guy. And it's nothing to do with me. Maybe I gave him his body, but he came here to continue his practice of bhakti. So when he was in the womb, he was in the holy dham, and he was meeting sadhus. That's not ordinary activity, actually. So, but you can see, actually, those who practice bhakti, there's a deeper joy there. Why? They're more connected. And the Lord reciprocates with them. So you, yourself, okay, no matter where you are, there's no loser. If you have so many material desires, you're already self-satisfied like an achieved Buddhist or an achieved Shankarite. Or you have no material desires at all. There, you will find great success in just following this process. So what's the process again? Cultivating a life of?
Hearing, glorifying, and remembering the Supreme Personality of God.
Yes, that's right. Abhiram wanted you to let someone else answer. He is always abusing my wife, I guess, for whatever reason, too. Hopefully he's a good boy in this life. So anyhow. All right, so now we know. So what was the last sentence I read? Yes. So this means that hearing from the authorities is the first essential. We went over this in last class. Hearing of the holy name gradually promotes one to the stage of hearing about his form, about his attributes, his pastimes, and so on. And thus the necessity of the chanting of his glories develops successively. So all right, this is important. Who should we hear from? Yes, from a realized person. How did they get their realization? From a realized person. Yes. And how did the first realized person get their realization? From the Lord himself. That's why in Bhagavad Gita, he says, Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyutanam adharmasya tadatmanam srajamyaham. So that's why he says that whenever religion declines, I myself will come again and reestablish religion. So if there's no more qualified persons left in the world, the Lord himself will come. So that's why we know there's still pure devotees here, because the Lord's not here. He never leaves it that there's a hopeless situation. There's always pure saints and devotees in the world that the Lord is directly empowering to carry his message. And if there is not, by chance, or even like when Krishna came, there were still pure devotees still in the world, but let's just say there was a lack of them for the general population, then he himself will come. So we never have to worry, actually. There's always hope. So we should hear from these authorities how to chant the holy names, how to hear, what are the Lord's qualities, what are his forms, what are his pastimes, and that vision that they carry inside of themselves will be imparted unto us. There's no other way. You can't read your way, or you can't go, I'm going to listen to a lecture and I'm going to steal what the sadhu says. You can't, as Prem Parajan Prabhu was saying, you can't pick the pocket of a sadhu. It has to be given to you. You can't, with your material facilities, even though in this material world we thought that we could lie, cheat, and steal our way to the top, and that's why people in the governments and big business, they do that. They lie, they cheat, and they steal their way to the top. And yeah, you can get temporary material things that way, but you can't get a transcendental thing that way, because you're acting from a lower nature to get it. The Lord, in this type of gift, you can't lie, cheat, and steal your way to the top. You can't go from the sadhu and like, oh, he's going to say something and I'm going to take it. I'm going to take it for myself. No, you can't. So what does Krishna say? How do you actually get it? Explain that for the layman part.
One should understand this, I'm paraphrasing, to understand this knowledge, one should humbly approach a personality and ask questions and render service to him, and these personalities are one who realize the truths.
Yes, and they'll reveal that knowledge to you, and they have the tattva darshana, meaning they're actually experiencing, realizing the truth, and they will impart that to you. How? By becoming humble before them, going before them humbly, not thinking, all right, we're equals, let me share my dissertations with you, and no. Like, we should understand that person who has tattva darshana, this is a high-class person, and I should come before them humbly. And then, what does one do when they're humble? You ask questions. Like Maharaj Parikshit, when he saw Shukadeva Goswami, what is the duty for all persons, all places, and all times? And what's the duty especially for one who's about to die? And like this. And maybe you already know the answer to that. Hear about and glorify and remember the personality of Godhead. But you can ask that person, well, how can I do that in my life? How can I design my life more and more? And that person, because they're expert in this, they will be able to help you. They have experience. They received that wisdom from their guru, and who received that wisdom from their guru, and it's passed down from the Lord, and it's pure. So, where are we now? This means that hearing from the authorities is the first essential. You have to find an authority and you hear from that authority. And yes.
You were saying, Prempraju was saying, you were mentioning this, like we cannot pick the pocket of a sadhu.
Yes.
So we listen to different speakers over the online YouTube platform.
Yes.
We may not have a personal connection with him, but we may get some kind of inclination to hear from them or something.
Yes.
So does that come in this category? Like
Yes.
How can we render some service to such a person who we may not have direct physical circumstances?
Well, it's also a lot of intentionality. But the best thing, personally, is to hear from personalities that you have a relationship with. So this is the way that you can really, because then you can directly ask them questions and clarifications and so on. This is the best way. Now let's just say, the personalities that you're connected with, their gurus and teachers, who they're trying to serve, also have, like Srila Prabhupada and even Srila Maharaj, and even you can hear some lectures from Bhakti Siddhanta or, things like that. Because it's in the line and it's connected to that personality you're connected to, it's also favorable, Or if you read the books of the Acharyas, read the books of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, read Srila Prabhupada's books, it's all favorable. But unless you yourself are connected via the sadhu, and that sadhu is having mercy on you, it'll all be random, some whimsical hearing. Oh, I feel like hearing from Amarendra Prabhu today, right? I feel like hearing from this person, and you're just kind of doing everything whimsically, but it's not actually it's not actually in connection with the parampara directly. So better you hear from a personality you're directly connected with. Now, that being said, there are amazing personalities who are sharing for the benefit of others, and they are absolutely connected to our parampara. So say hearing from someone like Amarendra Prabhu is very good, especially if you have a relationship with him. I was in the Hillsborough temple the other day, and I saw him come in, actually. I didn't even get to talk to him because he went back and did, but I actually I was like, oh, there's Amarendra Prabhu, and like this. But I have no real relationship with him, and even though I've heard a few lectures from him, because I don't have a real relationship with him, I'm less inclined to hear from someone I do have a personal relationship with. Why? Because it's more direct. It's a more direct connection. So now, but Srila Prabhupada, he is the Acharya who has empowered practically all of the sadhus walking the earth here. So hearing from Srila Prabhupada is directly connecting you to your, Gurujan, so it's not like, oh, we should never hear these things. No, it's perfect, it's good. But at the same time, hearing from someone you have a personal connection with is maybe even superior, because you can ask them questions and you can take that tadvini pranipatena pariprashnena seva and you can render them direct service. Whereas even rendering Srila Prabhupada's service, we know what he wrote in his books, and we know, but there's also time, place, and circumstance. Like Srila Prabhupada, you might read somewhere that distributing books is the topmost service. I want you all to distribute books. But if you don't even know what's in the books, and you're going out all day, and you just heard that Srila Prabhupada wants you to distribute books, and I want to render service to Srila Prabhupada. Yes, maybe so, but if you don't know that the higher teachings to actually know first what's in the books, and then you can go out and do these other activities like distributing books, then, so that's why it's very important to, actually I was hearing from Prempraju Prabhu, I was sharing a car ride with him, we were bringing him back to the airport, and he was studying under Gaur Govinda Maharaj, and I don't know if you've heard of Gaur Govinda Maharaj, but he's like an amazing sadhu, who, one of Srila Prabhupada's disciples, and Srila Prabhupada gave him extra special attention. I don't know if you've heard. about his extra special attention. And he stayed with him for like 2 weeks straight, and they were just going like back and forth. And why? Because he realized he was really qualified, Gaur Govinda Maharaj. So
as soon as he met him, he said, have you taken sannyas? And he said, no. He said, I'll give you sannyas.
yeah, so Prabhupada gave him everything, like all at once. Like he was just like, this person is like really amazing. So Gaur Govinda Maharaj was really quite empowered. And so Prem Prayojan Prabhu had a first guru in ISKCON. His name was Harikesh Maharaj or Prabhu, or, But, because he was junior and for whatever reason, it's no secret, he had to leave his position of being a guru. Just due to, not being able to uphold certain dignities that have to be there. So, but before that happened, though, his main thing was book distribution. And so Prem Prayojan Prabhu is younger now, and he's book distribution. He's going out book distributing all the time, because that's what his guru is telling him to do. And so, but Gaur Govinda Maharaj is doing his tour, and he was telling some of the finer subtleties of how you achieve the highest perfection of Krishna consciousness, how you achieve the realm of Vrindavan and so much things. But as it's described in Chaitanya Charitamrita, book distribution isn't in one of the in the direct process. So Prem Prayojan Prabhu is he's confused. He's saying, well, my guru told me that just by book distribution I can achieve this thing. Just by book distribution. That's what he's saying. And Gaur Govinda Maharaj, he had a funny way of doing things. He's like, hey, Baba, you have to understand first what's in the books. And then he said that blew his mind, that like just, I was emphasizing this activity so much, but I didn't actually understand what I was doing, distributing. So this actually, we have to have a really deep understanding of things. And how do you get that deep understanding? It's the gift of a sadhu. Like, just his first interaction with Gaur Govinda Maharaj, he broke through so much things. He didn't tell them, leave your guru, follow me, these things. That actually all happened on its own. That guru, he fell away. And then Prem Prayojan Prabhu was like, well, I got a really powerful experience with just like a few lines from this qualified person. Let me go to him. And he went to him and he studied him until he left this world. He didn't get to take initiation yet, but he left this world, but he was hearing and studying from him. And then how he went further, that's all also happened in his life. But yes, this is the process. So we have to hear from a really qualified personality, and when we hear from a qualified personality and get directly connected, then ourselves, we will get empowered to a certain degree, and we will also we'll start to directly receive knowledge by the proper channel of being humble, asking questions, and rendering them service. And so it's simple. That's why as Vaishnavas, we don't just, Vaishnava culture is to serve all, to hear from and serve all bhajana vigyams, as Rupa Goswami says, all advanced devotees. So that's why here in the center we invite many, many sadhus have come. You've served maybe dozens of sadhus now over the years. So you all have. You guys are just come this year, and you also just came this year. But over the years, you guys have served like dozens of sadhus over the years. That's amazing. That's an amazing, amazing thing. And that's the way you'll get knowledge. That's the way you've got knowledge already, and that's the way you'll continue to get knowledge, is this way. So we should try to understand these things. So that's why hearing from the authorities is the first essential. Get under the blanket of the authorities. Hearing of the holy name gradually promotes one to the stage of hearing about his form. We read that. His pastime and so on. And thus the necessity of chanting of his glories develops successively. So your chanting will become more and more saturated. More and more of the Lord will be revealed. It won't just be muttering mantras. You'll actually be able to experience more and more of the Lord in our chanting. The more we hear from the sadhus and the more that's revealed to us. So we just have to keep hearing. This is the first essential, hearing from the authorities. So This process is recommended not only for the successful execution of devotional service, but also even for those who are materially attached. So that's us. We have many material attachments to family, to wealth, to this, that, and the other in this world. No problem. Just do the same exact thing. Just hear about the Lord, and you'll see. Like even myself, I wanted family, I wanted wife, I wanted some career, this, that, and the other thing. And actually, what I ended up finding is all of those things, the material things I wanted, were super binding, and they're super creating so much responsibility and anxiety in my life. And it's not their fault, but it's so now I'm like left with the conclusion, oh yes, the only way I can perfect this thing and not be bound up by this thing that is now here is I have to offer it to the Lord. So now here's the house, trying to offer it to the Lord. Here's my wife and mine's relationship, trying to offer it to the Lord. Here's now Abhiram in our relationship, trying to offer it to the Lord. Otherwise, it's just a huge burden. It's just a huge burden. So, yes. So you have things in this world. Some of you have jobs. Some of you have money, and you're praying to the Lord for these things. Just wait till you actually get it, and it's super like, oh my God, this is causing me so much stress and anxiety, right? Yes, you've realized this already. Offer it to the Lord. That's simple. Allow it to facilitate you hearing, chanting, glorifying, and remembering the Lord, and then it will be perfect. Otherwise, it'll just be a big headache. And you'll lose it all anyway at the end of life. Who remembers their husband or wife in their last life? How, your kids, brothers, sisters? Uh-oh. Yes. This is the reality. At the end of this life, the same thing's going to happen. Maybe Abhiram, but we don't know if he remembers or not. We can't say for sure. But maybe. But at the same time, I know I don't remember, and I know you probably don't remember unless you're a really impressive personality. So what to do? Offer them to the Lord, because it's going to all be lost anyway, whether you try to hold on to it any other way. So, this process is recommended not only for the successful execution of devotional service, but even those who are materially attached. According to Sri Shukadev Goswami, this way of attaining success is an established fact, concluded not only by him, but also by all other previous acharyas. Therefore, there is no need of further evidence. The process is recommended not only for the progressive students in different departments of ideological success, but also for those who are already successful in their achievement, as fruitive workers, as philosophers, or as devotees of the Lord. So no matter where you're at in life, you will be a winner if you do this thing. So again, what's the duty for all persons, all places, and all times, and all circumstances? Yes. Before you chant, you have to hear. Hear, and then chant, and through glorification, and then remember what you can. So first hear is the first essential Prabhupada is saying. Then recite what you've heard, repeat what you've heard, even if you've only heard just one mantra. That mantra can contain everything, the Maha Mantra. And then remember. And remember in your life, when you're at work, when you're dealing with your family members. Even yesterday, I was in so much stress. Me and my wife, we've been touring around, and we've had so much more room to work with. Now that Abhiram is walking, he needs a lot of room. But we kind of came back here, and it was so cloistered, and we're like, oh my God, what to do? And then yesterday, my wife needs just like an hour away from him, and I need to take him. But he's running here and there, and nothing's baby-proofed in the house, and it's just like so I'm like, what do I do? So all I know, Deepthi saw me doing yesterday, I just grabbed the mridanga. I was like, I have to do something with him. And I just started singing bhajans with him. The Mangalarti bhajans. I just started singing bhajans. And then he came over and he started also doing. And then he took the kartals and he was playing with me. And I'm like, oh, this is working. Good. And so I just keep going like this. But actually, this was just a small example in my life. I saw, oh my God, here I am, materially stressed out by this little person. But I'm forgetting, oh wait, he should be offered to Krishna. This should be offered to Krishna. So then just go and start doing kirtan with him. And then everything starts going very nicely. And so then I recited all these bhajans I wanted to recite yesterday. Just because I was playing with Abhiram. Everything was perfect. So you can do also at work. While you're at work, sing some prayers you like to sing at work. While you're at work, sing some mantras, work on some tunes that you like to sing. Just remember Krishna in any which way you can. So Srila Jiva Goswami instructs that chanting of the holy name of the Lord should be loudly done. You should also, please don't do that. It should be loudly done. And it should be performed offenselessly as well. Also, I shouldn't mention though, when you chant japa, you should be mindful of other people's chanting. If you're just like, Hare Krishna, Krishna, and everyone else is next to you, they'd also like to hear their own mantra. So you have to be very mindful when chanting japa. But the chanting of the holy name of the Lord should be loudly done. And it should be performed offenselessly as well, as recommended in the Padma Purana. One can deliver himself from the effects of all sins by surrendering himself unto the Lord. Is there lemon or something in this?
No, it's just ginger.
Oh, ginger tea. One can deliver himself from all offenses at the feet of the Lord by taking shelter of his holy name. So just seriously, taking shelter of the holy name, that's a whole nother class on itself. Can you maybe take it? Yes. So, but one cannot protect himself if one commits an offense at the feet of the holy name of the Lord. So such offenses are mentioned in the Padma Purana as being 10 in number. Oh, he's going to tell about all of this. The first offense is to vilify the great devotees who have preached about the glories of the Lord. So if you start to get envious of devotees, or you try to find fault in devotees who really, what are they doing? They're preaching about the glories of the Lord. Number one offense to the holy name, and you'll be checked in your chanting of the holy name. We have to learn how to always appreciate the preachers of the holy name in this world, the devotees. So we should never vilify them. The second offense is to see the holy names of the Lord in terms of worldly distinction. This is a little bit different than how Prabhupada has translated them but he says the Lord is the proprietor of all the universes, and therefore he may be known in different places by different names, but that does not in any way qualify the fullness of the Lord. So we should know that the second offense is to understand that the Lord and his name are none different, and then also that the Lord is also he shows up as Lord Shiva, but we should understand the Lord has who is being identified here in all. When you worship demigods, when you do anything, who is the descriptive personality? The kids are. I don't know if they're Airbnbs, so we should just be mindful. That everything is describing that one Supreme Lord, but it's not the same when people are worshipping, let's say, Lord Shiva. And Lord Shiva is the benedictor, Ashutosh, he's easily pleased, he'll give you all your material desires. It's not the same, I chant the name of Lord Shiva, he's also God, That's a lot of popular Indian misconception. I chant the name of Kali, and I chant the name, even popular in the West as well, in the yoga circles. So I do kirtan of Kali kirtan, I do kirtan of Shiva kirtan, I do kirtan of Ganesh, all these things. That's all fine, but it's not the same. It's not at all the same. They are also little expansions of the Lord, but we should understand, Amnaya praha tatvam iha paramam, Tatvam Harim Iha Paramam, that the supreme truth is Hari, the supreme personality of Godhead, the one empowering. That's the person we should chant to. So that's why we have the Maha Mantra. This is the recommended mantra. So this is an offense to the holy name when you put it on a worldly distinction. All right, well, the Maha Mantra is nice, but I can chant to Shiva, he's also God. I can chant to Kali, she's also God. I'll chant to Durga Ma, and I'll chant the Hanuman Chalisa, and I'll chant this stotram and this thing. That's not the same. It's not the same. The holy name of the Lord is so much more powerful than all these other things, actually. And the intention behind chanting is also, we do so many traditions, maybe you worship Ganesh for certain things, or you worship Lakshmi for certain things in your life. None of it is necessary or even recommended by the great devotees. They worship only the Supreme Lord. And if they worship another personality, it's in relation because it gives great pleasure to the Supreme Lord. Like, say, Hare Krishna, like Radharani and all the associates of Raj and so on. It's all contained in the Mahamantra. So we chant this should be known. This is a whole class in itself. I'm shocked by Prabhupada's purport here, and it's only the second paragraph. So anyway, we'll finish this paragraph and then we have to finish for today.
Water in the root of the tree.
Yes. So, where are we here? Okay. Any nomenclature which is meant for the Supreme Lord is as holy as the others because they are all meant for the Lord. So even things like Allah, God, it depends, even Yeshua or Christ, or these words can also, if they're indicating the Supreme Lord, they're also equally good. They're equally good. These ones are very intimate. They're describing something very intimate. But all are perfect. All are on the higher platform, actually. So this should be understood. Okay. Such holy names are as powerful as the Lord, and there is no bar for anyone in any part of the creation to chant and glorify the Lord by the particular name of the Lord as it is locally understood. That's why Prabhupada, the devotees in Iran, he told them to go out on the street and chant the names of Allah. Because that's what's locally understood there. It's better. Even in this country, he did so much preaching through the names of Christ and God. God is not a name in Indian, in the Vedas. We'll call him God. But he is God to connect with the locals. So we should understand. So like this. The third offense. They are all auspicious, and one should not distinguish such names of the Lord as material commodities. The third offense is to neglect the orders of the authorized acharyas, or spiritual masters. The fourth, so you don't want to neglect the orders of the authorized acharyas or the spiritual masters. The fourth offense is to vilify scriptures or Vedic knowledge. We should be very careful not to do this. Oh, I don't like this. I don't like what it says. It must be wrong. And this, no. You're not understanding what's happening. So, you should, now, vilify is one thing, but you can test yourself. Like Prabhupada, he said, we just have faith in the Vedas, but it can all be tested. Like, for instance, modern science, right? For instance, the dung of cow is said to be holy in the Vedas, right? So it makes no sense. Every other animal's stool is disgusting and said to contaminate. Even in the Vedas it says. And we also have practical experience. Stool is gross. Human stool should not be touched by anybody. We don't like it. It's disgusting, right? And so also it causes diseases. Anywhere where there's excess of stool, it causes so many diseases. So, but when the Vedas say that cow dung is holy, how can such a thing be true? But look, modern science has tested that cow dung is the only stool in existence that is antiseptic. The modern science has proven it. So Prabhupada, he says, you don't have to have blind faith in the Vedas. Prem Prabhupada was talking about this. For those who have some past life experience, they don't need yukti. They don't need all the logical reasonings of why to do everything. And they can just hear about Krishna, and they can hear the glories of the Vedas, and they can just take it and go very far with it. But for those of us who, were a little skeptical, I don't know about that. That's crazy. Wait, that poop that's holy? What are you talking about? Really? Yeah, that poop is holy? Are you kidding me? But actually, when testing and things like this, even scientifically testing, cow dung it's antiseptic. In the ancient cultures, they used to mix it with mud and put it in the walls. Why? Because it's known this keeps insects away. This is amazing, actually. Normally, insects, they swarm poop. That's all they do. But, the Vedas knew about this already. And it's perfect in its knowledge, but we need the testing. So we can sit there and test the things we need of the Vedas. But to vilify the Vedas is greatly foolish, because it means you actually haven't tested. If you actually test, it will be proven true, actually. Just like... What's that? Yeah, it's perfect in so many ways. It does so many things that is so beneficial.
Good for gardening.
It's good for fertilization. It's good for creating fire, cooking wood and things like that. Or not wood, or fuel for fires, and it's amazing in so many ways. And the Vedas tell us it's amazing in so many ways. But maybe someone who's skeptical will be like, oh, I don't know. If they're an offender, they'll say, oh, these scriptures are nonsense. They tell you to worship poop. Like my brother, he was showing me some American cultural thing. Don't take offense if you ever meet him. But he thinks India is disgusting because they have poop festivals in India. And he told me. And he told me, and he showed us a video of a cow dung festival, which I don't know if I would participate, but they're all having so much fun smearing cow dung all over each other in the festival. In Western culture, that is just not acceptable in any which way. But I was trying to tell him, well, if you actually understand the nature of cow dung, it's actually quite holy, quite a pure thing, And I tried to share with him, but he's just not going to be able to understand that right now. But actually, he's sat and heard me and listened to me a little bit about it. But this is understood if we have this type of, if we just close off. No, look, they worship poop. It's all nonsense. We're going to lose we're going to lose everything, So, I mean, and it's not like they worship poop, but at the same time, but the dung it's an article of worship, actually. Like all the fires, started with the cow dung. And it's perfect for so many things. But, and it's an amazing system, where like
10 minutes worth of cow dung.
Dung katha, I'm sorry. But but no, it's actually perfect. It's actually perfect. But but at the same time, it's going to be hard. But if you just close off and you vilify the scriptures or Vedic knowledge just due to one thing you don't like, some people, they see some gender roles, that are prescribed. Women should be a certain way, men should be a certain way, and it doesn't line up with the social paradigms of today. And they say, oh, it's all archaic, it's all nonsense. The Bible is nonsense, this is nonsense. And they just, why? Because they don't want to listen to a higher authority, and they don't understand that God might have a system that is good. So anyway, they close off and they even vilify these things. So the fifth offense is to define the holy name of the Lord in terms of one's mundane calculation. So give some mundane interpretation of the holy name. Oh, the Maha Mantra is really good. You can achieve peace. You can, and you might have some understanding of the Maha Mantra, and you might have some practical experience from the Maha Mantra. It helped you get this effect, that effect. But to try to limit the glories of the names of God due to your own mundane calculations is actually an offense. So we should be very careful to only repeat things that are even described in the Vedas themselves about the holy name. So, the holy name of the Lord is identical with the Lord himself, and one should understand the holy name of the Lord to be non-different from him. By just uttering the holy name of the Lord is personally entering your life, and he's actually personally with you. It's that powerful, actually. So, should we stop there because it's long? Do you guys? It's already 9:12. You also have things to do today, right? Okay, so we stopped with the fifth offense of the holy name of the Lord. It's kind of a heavy subject matter. So we'll say Prabhupada. 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 He actually
Now he wants to be shy.
usually says it.
Whole class.
No, but it's okay. Anyhow, Prabhupada. No, too shy. So anyhow, we'll end here. Prabhupada, there you go. So we'll end here, but and we'll do kirtan. But yeah, take these things. It's very important subject matter. There's really nothing else that needs to be done in life. And anything else that needs to be done is to support your culture of doing these really important things. So again, what is the main thing you should do in your life, Madhav? Yes. Yes. So, under the authorities. So if you do like that, your life will be perfect. And any other considerations and activities you do, they are only to maintain that. So if you know that, then the Bhagavatam is for you. If you don't want to accept that, then you'll need some longer bit of time, but you're not going to reach the perfection of life and true satisfaction. But you all have some level of faith. So take your level of faith, you should understand, develop your culture more of hearing, chanting, and remembering, and mold your life around it. And see your activities that you're doing is to enhance this. And if it's not enhancing, then you have to adjust these activities so that they are enhancing. And then when that happens, you'll be more and more blissful. The more you can actually do the main duty for all times, all places, and all circumstances. Okay? Hare Krishna. Lakansh. We'll do kirtan now.